Got it.
Good
Hey, where are
Sunday
you?
morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Cafecito.
Yes, I have my coffee. How are you, Vanessa? That's so great you came.
I know. I was like, I'm going to try to make it this time, but I'm still grabbing my coffee and breakfast, so just bear with me.
Absolutely. Oh, no
I-
problem. No problem.
How are you
So
doing?
I'm good, thank you. So Vanessa, this is so Carmen, wave Carmen. This is Carmen. We met running a long
Nice.
time ago. Penny and I were best friends in elementary school.
Oh,
Have not spoken since grade 6 and reconnected through this book club.
That's great.
Yeah. And Vanessa and I know each other. We met each other through Beachbody and we're like besties for life.
Yes.
Forever. And she lives in Ohio.
Yeah.
So she's another one of my American friends.
And where are you, Vanessa?
What's that?
Where are you?
I live in Ohio.
Oh, you're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm in Toronto
Nice to meet
or
you.
surrounding areas.
Right.
Toronto.
Very cool.
So Vanessa,
And we are on the West Island.
do you want to introduce yourself since it's your first time coming to club? A little intro.
So yeah, like she said, I'm from Ohio. I am a ER nurse and have an 11-year-old son, married for 13 years now. We live on a farm here, so it's an old farmhouse. Yeah, I got several animals. We've got goats, chickens, bearded dragon, a couple of dogs, and I have no idea what else. So had fish, but they just died.
Oh,
So
Who just
That-
died?
our fish. My son had
Oh.
won some fish at the fair, like the local fair, and I was like, they don't live for long coming from the fair. So yeah, they lasted a couple of weeks. Yeah. But it's fine.
Her son, tell us about your son. He was in some competitions at the fair, right? With his, like, was he competing?
Yeah, so they do you guys have fairs at all?
Not like you.
No.
No.
Not as cool as like,
No, not like what you guys do. Like we
Yeah,
just
that is
we
so
just see that
cool.
in movies. It's like more
Oh,
for
really?
movies for us.
Yeah, so we have so we have at our fairs, like the local kids will show their animals. So it's all like 4-H kids or FFA, like rural kids. So Rylan had lambs and our goats, and he showed both of those at the fair. And it's pretty like an intense day because you have to wash them and shear them and like keep them very clean, and you have to do a lot of work with them. So he showed them did really well with the goats particularly. And then the last day of the fair, he had to sell one of the lambs, and they go off to market, which is always like a really sad day because you've worked so hard on them, and then you throw them on a truck to go off to be eaten by somebody. So it's always a very sad day, but he did really good though.
Awesome.
Yeah. And we camped there for the entire week, so that was fun.
Yeah, you guys and your fairs. We don't really have those. I mean, we do. That's not true. Like if we went up to like Knowlton, like different parts, like farther away from where Carmen and I live near, there are fairs. They're just not around us. And
Yeah.
Penny, you too. I mean, you live in Ontario. There's tons of rural potential there. Yeah.
but if it's like,
Yeah.
because in Miami, I lived in Miami for a few years. They had county fairs.
Yeah,
where there
that's
was
what
an
it
element of like the farm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there were rides and there were like a whole bunch of other cool stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch of, well, there's usually a bunch of stuff there, but with COVID lately, our fair has just been like really downhill. there was only like a few like vendors there, and then there was like 5 rides or something crazy. But this was really the first year that my son, I kind of let him like go off with his friends a little bit and have some like free time. So, which was kind of nice that it wasn't super crowded, because it made me feel a little bit more confident with him being out with others.
Mhm.
And I appreciate your service. Thank you
Oh, thank you.
for your service during this time.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank
You
you.
guys are working hard.
It's
I work in the
definitely
hospital,
crazy right
but
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys do?
I'm
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Carmen.
also I work in a hospital, but I'm administrative. So I work I used to work clinics, ambulatory clinics, but now I just do administrative for the head of neurology. So I just do minutes, coordination, and all that kind of stuff that needs to be coordinated for the team, for all the neurologists and all that. I'm also a massage therapist and looking into other possibilities right now. So
Nice.
Miss Carmen has something to share with us after. She's going to share
Yeah.
a cool story. So
Okay.
we'll have that for later. And Penny,
I underwent a mid-career change. So during COVID, I had gotten laid off from my position. I was in marketing, business development at a law firm. And so then I got laid off and I went back to school and I completely changed careers. And so I finished off with an immigration consultant license. And I just got a new Wednesday. I just started a job as an immigration consultant for an immigration firm. That's
on
fun.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It is.
That's a big job.
I'm
today.
excited because it's everything kind of led up to this point, right? That's going back to school and then having to take this. Graduating from school is one thing, but then you had to study for the exam. I studied for 3 months and then passed the licensing exam and then got this really great, it's an American company, but it's a big international company. They have offices all over the world. So I'm very excited. It's
Good for you. Sounds exciting.
Awesome. I think COVID has been an opportunity for a lot of people to sort of push the reset button and maybe do something they wouldn't have done otherwise. I think that's a positive, perhaps, from what's happened. So like, I don't know, that's the way I see it. I feel like in that sense, it's also changed the direction of how I work and what I choose to do. So I think that's been a positive component. So
Yeah,
how many have read the book?
Wait, but what about you? What do you do, Lindsay?
I host book clubs. No, I'm kidding. Well, I do that, yeah. Okay, so well, I'm a graphics designer. So I worked at an ad agency for 17 years. And in 2016, I had a burnout and took a leave from work. I took a year off. And then in 2017, my oldest daughter, Grace, got sick. And so I extended my leave to take care of her and take her to her appointments and everything. And then in 2018, I quit my job at the ad agency and decided that I was going to start my own business, Conceivable Creations. I had no idea what I was going to do, if it was going to be design only, or if I was going to do other parts, like I have other things in my business. And then I got pregnant with Brooklyn after 5 cycles of IVF over 4 years, and was home with her, and then started up my biz and was quite busy actually just before the pandemic hit. I had a lot of clients doing a lot of design stuff. I was doing pretty intense work for the Montreal Music Festival scene. And then COVID hit and I lost all my clients like on Monday the 16th, literally like by the end of the day, I had no more clients. So I closed shop and I stayed home with Brooklyn for an extra year because she was a year old. And then my business just started to pick up again. And now I work for my husband. So I do his marketing and graphics design and social media stuff. And I have a couple of clients again that I work. I'm in a place right now where I'm choosing who I want to work with, and I'm not just taking work because I feel I have to. And before the pandemic, like I had clients I didn't like. There was one client that I had that was really awful, but I was afraid to say no, right? Like, how can you turn down work? How can you turn down income? Now I say no. It's quite freeing, and it's quite amazing to be able to know, like, okay, money isn't everything, and I'd rather work for somebody that I feel good about. So that's what I do. And this is not a pitch, but I did meet Vanessa through Beachbody, which I joined in February. And the support that I get from these women are everything to me. They're my best friends, my sisters.
Can you explain what Beachbody is? I've listened to it,
Sure.
but I don't know what.
Yeah, sure. I'll just do that really quickly because I don't want to veer off. But
Yeah.
it's honestly it's I mean it's an exercise. It's an exercise, right? It's like another platform for a service that offers exercise. So it's all online. So like there's a lot of online exercise programs out there. I was drawn to this one specifically because of the people I knew that were doing it. My coach, Kelly, she's from Michigan, and she changed my life because I was in deep grief. I was really broken. And I signed up to try and get exercise into my daily routine. And she's the one who suggested I try barre. And barre literally became like where I grieved. I cried. It was an essential part of me bringing myself out of really, really hard place. Like I was really broken. And so I ended up having I did a 60-day barre program, and I had all the support from Vanessa and all the other team members I'm part of. Just an incredible, positive group of wonderful women that grow together. We laugh and we support each other in everything. And we also exercise together.
Very cool.
So
Okay.
it's just
so
like,
yeah, those are the
it's a
postings then.
community, it's a community
Amazing.
of great, badass, awesome people. Right, Vanessa?
It is absolutely amazing. Yeah.
It changed my life. And I actually have done barre. I know you saw Vanessa on, because Vanessa and I are friends on our watch. I did barre yesterday and the day before. The first time like in months since my cervical neck issues. And I already just feel like so much better. I just feel
Very
like
cool. I'll look into it
reconnected to
afterwards,
myself. Yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing.
Mm.
All right. So who has read the book?
I'm like
Chapter
halfway through.
Halfway through. What chapter are you on?
Just starting 4. So I was maybe not halfway through. Not quite.
That's fine. That's fine. Penny,
I'm a slow
where
reader.
are
I
you?
wish I
Oh, so am I. Honestly, I really had to depend on Audible. Like I have the book,
I'm thinking
but
about doing that. I think that's probably, so when I take my walks, like I could listen to it.
I highly
Listen to
recommend
something.
it because it's Gabby who reads
Mm.
on the Audible app.
Oh.
She's reading her book. So I find that just an additional connection because it's her. So it's not just someone else reading a book.
And it's not
So I
expensive,
found
right?
that
Audible,
cool.
the subscription?
Audible is $17
What's the
a month.
subscription?
So for $17 a month, you get Audible. You get a credit a month. So which means you can download a book for like, it's not free, obviously, you have your subscription, but you can download a book, it's 1 credit. And every month you get credits. So if you're not reading a book every month, your credits add up. Like I have 3 credits right now, worth 3 more books. And if you think about like the price of a book, they're at least $17 most of the time. What's this book? This book is
So
$22.99 Canadian.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
So you pay 17 a month?
You pay
$17 and then a month.
$17. Yeah,
You get a book a month.
$17. You get a book a month. And like
Right.
it's actually if you want to, and if you don't want the book, then yes, you still pay the $17 a month, but you're collecting your credits.
Mhm,
So like right
Yeah.
now, if I wanted to, I could buy 3 books.
mhm.
So it's honestly, and my husband also uses it. We use the same account. So he has his books on the go. I have mine. Like I really like it.
Okay. And it's an
and
app, right?
it's
Like you listen to
on
it
my
through the app.
phone. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. On my phone. And like honestly, it's the only way I got through this book. Not because it's hard to read, but because I am a very slow reader and I'm very busy and distracted all the time. Like I'm sure all of you are. But now I can like make dinner and I'm like reading, right? Or driving, or it
Love
just
like having a paper book though, and then like
oh yeah.
make notes and like
Yes,
see if I
I'll
did this
admit.
good though, I wouldn't go back to doing that.
I honestly, there are times in the book when she really says something and I'm like, no, I have to stop and find out where that is in the book. Not with every book, but with this one specifically, I did feel like going back. So yeah, I will admit though, in terms of how I do Audible, I don't save money because I still buy the books. Like I started this book called The 12-Week Year on Audible and I had to stop it. I'm like, no, I need the book. I cannot listen to this. There's so much amazing information. I have to have the book. So I've stopped listening. I bought the book and now I'm going to go back and start it again eventually. So yeah. So
I
okay,
haven't gotten further than I haven't read since the last time we met.
so you're on 6, I think, eh? Around
6.
chapter 6. Yeah.
Mhm.
There is
Trying to
no
get
problem
through
with
the-
that. I'm not like, without giving anything away from the book. Obviously, it's not like it's not like a novel, right? Where there's like an ending. It doesn't finish like that. So without giving anything away in the book, like I can just tell you that the things that really held on for me. Well, first of all, Vanessa, you're in for a treat because you're only on chapter 4. So you are in for a treat because she does talk about where does it start? I was telling the girls, yeah. Okay, so on chapter 6 and chapter 7 were a bit challenging for me. Not chapter 6 though, more 7, 8. But in chapter 6, what's really cool is she talks about the archangels.
Okay.
And she describes like what like Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Michael, and how she calls to different archangels in times that she needs them. She talks also about calling on your spiritual guide, and she teaches you like how to do that through meditation, and how like you like, I don't like, if you've never done it, you know, according to her, like you don't really know who your spiritual guide is yet, but when you call for your spiritual guide, they'll come to you, and then like they're with you for your life. So she talks a lot about that and how she connects with angels, archangels, spiritual guides. She talks about really like lifting the veil. She's very open about the fact that she believes that they speak to her and give her signs. So you have to be pretty, you have to be open to that, right? Because that's,
Yeah.
that can be a lot to ask of somebody.
Uh-huh.
I think it's pretty cool. Like I am totally going to summon my spiritual guide when I'm ready.
That's great.
Yeah. So in that way, I think you have that to look forward to in the book for everybody. The last several chapters, here's what I loved. What stuck with me. She talks about appreciating, waking up every day and appreciating things, like appreciate your partner, appreciate the weather, appreciate your cup of coffee, appreciate the shit that's going on in your life, even if it's hard. Like, how can you spin it around and appreciate that this is like a learning opportunity, as opposed to like, this is just so terrible. How is like my life ever going to be okay again? Appreciate everything. She talks a lot about appreciation. She touches on something I think a lot of us probably, I know I do, fear of like when everything's going so well in your life. Have you ever felt like frightened that it can't be this good, like it's too good to be true? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 Oh. Hi, sweet girl. Mommy's on a call.
Ah,
Hello.
hi, good morning, gorgeous.
You want to say good morning?
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Oh, what a cutie. Good morning.
Yep. Say bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, off you go.
Bye.
Go see daddy and close the door, okay? Oh, or go see grandma, go close the door. Yeah, fear that it's too good to be true. Have
Like
any
you're
of you
just
ever
waiting for
experienced that?
you're
Shoe to
just
drop.
waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced that?
I do it often.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like have you ever felt like, oh, I'm so happy? Oh,
When is
like
this gonna
yes.
blow up
So
on me?
she talks about that and how like that's fear-based. And so what she says is that, so like what's your baseline for when you feel like you're happy? And then when things are going really, really well, and you just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm living in so much abundance. I'm so happy. This is so wonderful. Instead of fearing that it's going to go away, that's an opportunity to take the baseline that you had for happiness before and remove it. Okay, now this is my baseline of where I
Ooh.
am for happiness. And like you can keep bringing it up. Like it's like, yes,
Stepping it
bad
up a notch
stuff,
every time.
bad stuff's going to happen. Like, you know, it's
For
like,
me,
what do you think? Like, do you agree with that?
for me, it's not so much like fear of like when is shit gonna hit the fan. It's more of like I self-sabotage. Like I do really well on a diet. I'm doing really good. I'm seeing the results. I'm losing weight. And then I'm like, I'm losing weight. Okay, let's go eat, several donuts. And then that leads to, having cupcakes. And then that leads to just this. And then I'm like, oh, I don't need to work out. I'm doing really good. And then in reality, I'm not. Same thing like financially. We're doing really good. We're paying off all the bills. Okay, yeah, we need to go out and get a new washer and dryer. Let's put that on a credit card. And then there goes our credit again. I don't do it intentionally, like, but subconsciously, I don't know why I do it. And it's like I constantly self-sabotage myself in that manner. Like when things are going really good, I'm like I do something to like make myself spiral back down, if that makes sense.
Totally. I totally know what you mean. I almost feel like what it is, tell me if you think that like this resonates with you, but it's like you feel like you're safe, because you're following the diet or you're saving the money or paying off the bills, and you start to feel like secure again because you're in control. And the minute you start to feel the control, that's when you want to start feeling like
Chaos again.
yeah, the gratifications, right? Of like, oh, I've been so good with my diet, I'm going to eat donuts and like just totally lose control. Like it's not, you're not saying that in your head, but I think like you've experienced the feeling of having control of something, and that's like exhausting, I think, like if you think about it. And I think maybe in the book she talks about it being more like open, seeing the light, instead of getting like, what do I get from paying off my bills, or what do I get from being on a diet? It's like, what can I give?
Yeah, I just read that chapter.
And I feel like if you think of it that way, like for me, Andrew and I, we have a debt that accumulated through our infertility treatments. We did 5 cycles of IVF, so I'll let you guys do that math in your head, but it's a lot of money. It was worth every single dollar, but we've kind of like, we got pregnant finally, we had our miracle daughter, we've been enjoying her, and this debt has been sort of just there, like this anxiety that we don't address. And finally, like we talked about how happy and lucky we are and how we live in this life of abundance and how we need to get rid of this heavy weight in our lives. So we've decided to finally pay off the debt. So when I was talking about manifest boards last week and like how to manifest something like a goal, a dream, something in your life. For me, that's owning a cottage by a lake. But how do I get what I want? Well, I need to give, which is I need to pay off my debt, which means that I need to, you know, give back in the sense that I can't be irresponsible, and I need to be truthful about my finances, and I need to make sure that my family is secure. Like that's the way I've interpreted it through her book. Like there's what you want, but it's how do you get it by giving? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking about it this morning in the shower because I actually just like read that part in the this morning, finishing up chapter 3, I guess. And another book I had read, and it was like a faith-based book, but like it talks kind of the same thing as like, you know, people want like a brand new car, but yet they have this car currently that they don't take care of, they don't change the oil, they don't clean it out. Like, why would God, or you know, whomever, universe, bless you with a brand new car that you can't even take care of the current car you have? And so I started thinking about that again. Like, I'm kind of similar to you as the fact of like, yeah, I'd love to have like a, you know, a cottage on the lake or whatever. But I also like started thinking about like what makes me really like jealous of people, and it's their homes. Like I am very blessed with my home, but it's not the home of my dreams. And we keep talking, we've talked for 13, 14 years of making this a home of our dreams, but we don't do it. And like, so when I go into other people's homes, I'm just like, gosh, it's such a beautiful home. And it makes like my heart hurt. Like, this is what I want. Why can't I have this? And then so I also started thinking like, because this is a place that I don't like, it's not my dream, I probably don't take care of it the best of my abilities. So maybe if I really started like cleaning, organizing, and trying to like really bring the energy up, and that will help to bring in the income and everything that I need to make it our, you know, our home of our dreams.
I
I
think
something?
that's exactly what she says, is if you give to your home right now that you have and live in abundance and gratitude that you have this place to raise your family, that the universe, it's not that the universe gives you back, but it's that you're giving and somehow it just works out. Either your home becomes the home that you love and it is the home of your dreams, or the home of your dreams will come because now you've stopped wanting to get it, and you're actually giving into what you have.
Right.
Like that's the way I interpret it. So you should be giving into your dream home here. Yes, Carmen. Hi, Leia.
Hi.
Hi.
What I see, well, I don't know, maybe you didn't see it or you did see it, but from listening to you, this is the sabotage. You're sabotaging your home too. It's the reflection of yourself.
Yeah.
So you sabotage your health, you sabotage your work, your stress. When you're getting good, boom, you make it sure that you don't get to there. You could be applying the same rule to your house.
That's true.
Home. It's just something that by talking, that's what I get out of it.
Yeah.
And something else that I've noticed with my mother, for example, my mother is someone that lives on adrenaline. I have a schizophrenic brother, and he takes a lot of work, and she's always helping him. She's been there for him, and now she's 83, and it's getting a little bit harder. And she's been home, you know, during the COVID, not as active as she usually is. She'd be driving around like, do, always like, yes, do, fix, do this, do that. So she lives on this adrenaline. And now during COVID, she's almost like bored, and that's kind of almost depressed her because she's used to that rhythm. So what I'm saying is that some people, I think, are activated with adrenaline when they have to put out a fire. That's when they're at their best. I think as a nurse, you probably experienced that. So
yeah.
When everything is calm and you're on a good diet, you're on a health plan, your debts are paid, you're calm, everything is good.
Yeah.
But life becomes boring, and you need that shot of adrenaline. So it's cycle that
Mm.
you have to kind of break. That's what I kind of get out of it.
That's spot on. Yes.
So it's knowing, recognizing that don't let the chaos be your source of adrenaline.
Yeah.
Right.
I often joke that I thrive on chaos because I do. Like
Mm.
I was that person in school, like I write the paper that's due tomorrow the night before. Like I do my best work in the heat of the moment. And yeah, it's true.
And it's not accepting that stability and quiet. I've been with my partner now for almost 10 years, and he's very calm and collected. I'm like, go here, go there. Da, da, da. I'm like, you're so boring. You're so boring. You can't just do things on the fly. He needs, be planned, organized. But he's always like very cool on top. No, he's cool about stuff. And it's many times I said, I can't do this. I mean, give me some life, give me some boom, boom, boom. I've learned to live with it, and it's great. But I've had to recognize that I was the one that I wanted a life of everywhere until I realized I don't need it. It's a
Yeah.
habit. That's
Mhm.
all.
No, it's great
I
to
think
hear.
I've said enough.
No, I love what you said, Carmen, and I love, okay, like the connection you guys just made with like Vanessa saying like she loves to live in chaos. So that's probably like, I know you say the word self-sabotage. I feel like I I'd like to think of it like, okay, you like living in chaos. So when you're on like a diet or exercise plan, or you're paying off your debts and stuff, like Carmen was saying, it's boring maybe because it's going well, it's consistent, you're on point. And it sounds like maybe you like thrive a little bit on the chaos, and maybe that's your motivator for things. But so
Yeah.
maybe it's like maybe it's finding a new motivator. Like, okay, chaos doesn't work for me because it only allows me to live in a feeling like I'm in control for so long because I need that chaos again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I also enjoy like checking off boxes. So when I'm trying to pay off debt and stuff, like I have to make myself little graphics of things. It's like, well, for instance, here, I don't know if you guys see it. This was like my vision board for 2021. So I made these little
Oh my
flowers,
God.
like all the little debts
Cool.
I got that my debt's paid off. I like colored in the flowers.
Oh, I love that.
So like that for me is a gratification. So I tend to have to do that often, or I won't, like if I can't see it, I won't finish it.
Yeah, no, I know. Oh yeah, totally. That's no, absolutely. Well, we can do vision boards, guys. We could like talk about that in December. Work
Can I
on
say
vision
last thing?
boards. Yeah, of course.
Last thing, Vanessa, I'm using strong words just because I'm exaggerating everything, right? So don't say that. Don't think your life is a chaos or anything like that. So
Oh, no,
don't
no.
interpret it as, I'm just using like boom, like two extremes to get the message across.
No, I understand.
Okay. I don't know you, and I'm not going to judge you in any way. No, you're a chaos, you're a mess.
Well, we all live in a little chaos, that's for sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Leia's just joined us. Hi, Leia. Can you hear me?
Hi, Leia.
Hang on, she's on mute. I think you're muted. Yeah?
I don't think so.
There
Oh
you
no,
are.
there you
There
are.
you
I
are.
can't see,
Hi. Oh, you can't see us?
Hi.
Hi, Leia.
but what? Hi.
Welcome.
you not
I
We're
see
don't
us?
happy
think
you
I'm
came.
muted.
Leia, can you
Oh,
see
you're
us?
not. We hear you.
Yes, I could. I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Does Penny, how are you feeling about?
I think what especially resonated with me, but it's something that I was able to overcome. But you read it in the book, and it's especially poignant because I grew up like my brother. He was born with a blood disorder, and that led to getting a blood transfusion in the 80s that was infected with HIV. And so he got HIV, he was HIV positive at like 6 years old in the 80s,
Wow.
at a time where they didn't have all the drugs that they have today. So the doctors were telling my parents that he wasn't going to live longer than a year. And so every single good moment that we would have as a family was kind of tainted with this could be the last one. And it would be reinforced by, and they did it not knowing what they were doing. What they were doing is just instilling this sense of dread in me since I was a little girl. And so any good thing, I would automatically think, I really have to appreciate this because it could be the last one. And so I could see my parents doing that as a way, like for them, it was a good thing in their mind doing that, because they were like, just so that she really remembers and she really appreciates it. What ended up happening is my brother ended up living for 20 years HIV positive. That's Lindsay, that's why we moved to Miami, because
I did not know that.
the doctors told my parents that he would not survive another winter. And my parents were so desperate that they just picked up and left. It was like from one day to the other. It was one of those things where I'm having the best life, and then all of a sudden, yeah, we're leaving. And it was just so surprising. And so my brother ended up living for 20 years. He did die. He ended up dying when he was 26. I was 25. But he had the most amazing life. But what happened is that you're always waiting for the shoe to drop. You're always waiting that no matter how good things are, you always know that that moment is going to come where your entire world just implodes. And so finally, when I've moved on with my life and I've accepted his death, and I'm actually at peace with it, because we were so close. We were abnormally close. We were, it's like when I hear
remember
the relationship of twins, that's how we were only 13 months apart. So we were best friends.
He was always whenever Penny would have us over, like a bunch of girls, your brother was always with us.
Yeah.
He was just like one of the girls.
Yeah.
But he was such a boy.
Yeah.
So he was like with us, but like, doing gross things. And he was,
Oh, he was cool. He was a really cool guy. And so when I had my own kids and my life was finally, because after he died, I didn't think I would ever be happy again, ever. I didn't think happiness was possible for me. And I went through a really deep depression. It was like a whole thing. But then when I was able to overcome that and I got my life back and I became truly happy, in a way that I never thought was imaginable, that thing, I was still traumatized, so that I was always dreading and I would get these images, like for instance, kissing my husband goodbye in the morning as he goes off to work. I would get these images of him being in a horrible car accident and I would never see him again. And this could be the last kiss. So really appreciate this last kiss because it could be the last one. And my children growing up and like when they were babies, and just imagining these horrible things on my own. I don't know how I did this. And it was just intuitive, or maybe I heard it somewhere. It was an exercise that I had to do where because I can't help those thoughts going into my mind. So I would immediately replace it with the positive. Like, so when I would kiss my husband goodbye and I would get that image as he's going off of him being in a horrible car accident, him dying, I would recognize that feeling came in, that feeling of dread and that horrible image because it's super visual. I would then immediately replace it with him coming home and I hugging him and kissing him, and that feeling, I would feel that feeling of joy and love as he comes in through the door. In the beginning, it's work. You really have to do it deliberately. And I would do the same thing with my children. When my sister-in-law would take my kid off to go do an activity, the same feeling of dread, I might never see my kid again, I would immediately replace it with this vision. With my kids, it's different. I visualize them as grown-ups. This is what I would, when they were babies, I would visualize them as grown-ups graduating from university or having a baby of their own. And I'm at the hospital watching them with the baby, because I'm visualizing their lives continuing and them as adults, because they didn't die as a kid, because that's my experience. Like, children die, so, or they get sick. And then after a while, I don't know how long it took me, those negative images start being very, very few, because it becomes a habit and it becomes something where you're just experiencing joy as opposed to dread. You're
letting love in.
Well, yeah, and you're automatically replacing those
fear
feelings
with love.
Yeah, and then
that's exactly
and then
what she
maybe
talks about.
Yeah, I know. So that's why it just confirms. It took a lot of work on my part, because it's years of programming. So maybe it took me a good couple of years to be finally rid of that and just feel the joy of the present. Because listen, still, it doesn't mean I'm protected against bad things happening. And if a bad thing happens, I will deal with it when, if it does happen, and I know that I'll be able to get through it no matter what happens. In my mind, I've gone through such a horrible thing with my brother that I know that I can survive horrible things happening. But why am I going to suffer through it twice? Well, if it happens, then I'll deal with it. So, and if it doesn't, that's great. I never had to suffer it. So I live in the moment, I live in the present, and my future is bright. I imagine a very bright, positive future whenever, I get any kind of feeling of dread. I go ahead and replace it with that positive.
With your bright yellow
Yeah.
that you had as your color. Very cool. I love that story, Penny. Thank you. Wow. It's emotional.
Message.
Love
That
it.
was a very cool story, and it feels so real with you ladies to talk about this stuff. It's not just stories; they're real. And what I just posted in a message, did you get it? My
Yeah.
message?
Yeah.
This was in the Chinese cookies there, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, about 10 years ago, and it's stuck with me. It's like when I read it and I said, right, because when you see darkness up front, you have darkness today. But
Yep.
when you see brightness up front, it changes your present attitude.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm feeling kind of down, I say, okay, wait, what am I doing? Of course, I'm thinking about chaos. I'm thinking about something tragic is going to happen. I'm thinking I'm never going to be happy. But when you can project good things, like you just described, Penny, it changes your current happiness, or you tap into that happiness. That's all.
You really appreciate your blessings. You appreciate all of it, even the little things, just the fact that I can hear my kids downstairs with their little friend and they had a sleepover, and I love that, and so and people kind of take these things for granted. So when you really deliberately, with intention, wake up every day and appreciate everything that is going on in your life, that is just, for others, it's just normal. It's actually not normal. The fact that I can get running water, by turning on the faucet, is just amazing to me. The fact that I have a fridge full of food, it's just, I'm so thankful.
Penny, it's like this book was written for you to share with us. Like, I feel like it's crazy. It's just because I've finished it. Like, she talks all about this, like appreciation and letting the fear out and the light in, the love in. Like, it's like you're already living her words, but you haven't called on your spiritual guide yet, have you?
These things are intuitive because I know I have.
Okay.
I know that I have. For me, it's my guardian angel is how I see the spiritual guide, right? So, and I feel the presence of like this protective force or somebody that's there with me. And I'll talk, I'll sometimes within my head or when I'm alone or whatever, I'll talk to, my guardian angel, because it's, for me, it's, I can feel that. I can feel that I'm not alone.
Yeah. I'll tell you something that happened at the funeral I was at on Friday. Because for me, since my mom died, the color purple is like it's like this color really speaks to me with her. It's like when I see that color, I know it's her. When I was at my brother-in-law's mom's funeral, because she also, like, she was in her 60s, she died very suddenly, and it was very sad. We were at her grave burying her ashes, and I could see little bits of purple around and like gardens and stuff, which made me feel like she was there. But I asked Suzanne, my brother-in-law's mom, like, can you show me you're here with the color yellow? Because they had her kids had a sunflower that they were going to put in her grave with her, so the color yellow. And I asked her, like, show me you're here in yellow. And the little like speckles of purple flowers that I saw in gardens, like suddenly now I was overwhelmed with how much yellow I didn't see before I was looking, you know, and asked her. There was like chrysanthemums in full bloom yellow. And then 2 school buses drove by this little street, like that's just like a church street. 2 giant yellow buses drove by. And I was like, okay, like that's a lot of yellow. And then I looked across the street and there were these pumpkins on display because the church was in the country, and there was 1 orange pumpkin, which we've all seen, but there were 3 yellow pumpkins. I've never seen a yellow pumpkin. Like I've seen squash and stuff, yellow, but I have never seen perfect pumpkins in the color yellow. And for me, like I was just standing outside by her grave and I was like, wow, like you're here, you know, like you are, like you cannot deny that. I just don't think, I believe that. I believe she was there. So yeah, I find the books helped me embrace that more, because I think maybe I thought like if I felt the presence of someone, like I maybe questioned it, and now like I don't. I am positive that this is happening, that these things happen.
Yeah, kind of like anyways, let me know when you want me to tell you
Yeah,
tell you
well,
the story.
so
Yeah, I'll let you guide it.
Carmen has, so last book club, Penny was here, Vanessa, so what happened is Carmen's actually left her job and she's moving on to another job. And before she left her job, she went to see her boss, and she asked her boss, like, can you give me any feedback on, you know, my performance, any advice, any, you know, like, what is it? Constructive criticism about
yeah.
how I worked. Because Carmen wanted to go to her next position feeling, you know, like she's learned something and that she can work and improve upon. And her boss, who's a neurologist, like a medical doctor, told Carmen that she felt that Carmen's path was to be a life coach, which is like totally surprised Carmen. Like, what? This is like coming from where? Like, seems like very out of like left field. But she told Carmen that this was something she felt so strongly about, Carmen's path. So Carmen apparently has a follow-up to this story that's happened since we last spoke. So go ahead, Carmen, share.
Yes. So I did have one meeting, online, a Zoom meeting with like a coaching academy per se. It was a Zoom meeting and an info session where they had a live coach have a person that they coached, and it was very, very enlightening. And anyways, I got an idea. Based on that, I said, okay, I'm not just going to jump into it. I'm going to do some research. So I started looking online for coaches in Montreal, and then I find top 10 coaches, and I found one name that my kids knew, this girl, Samantha Lotus. She's traveling around. I don't know where she is now. But top 10 coaches, she was on that list. So that says, oh, wow, I know this girl. I know who she is. Okay, she's doing very well. And then I looked up this other girl because she had an office on the West Island. So I said, okay, I'm gonna look up this girl. Her name is Gabrielle, and so I called. I looked her up a little more, realized that she had an academy. It's called the Coaching Academy, Life Coach Academy, but a coaching academy. And so I put my name in the information section because can't talk directly. And anyway, so I left a message saying I wanted more information to find out pricing, their goals, and how it is. So while I'm at work, I think she left a message, so I wasn't able to answer. So she left a message, and I said, okay, it's not important right now. I'll just wait for it. I'll call her back tomorrow. But then on Friday, I had company from Toronto, so I really didn't have much time. I had to get home, make dinner, So I didn't call, left it all there. And Saturday morning, yesterday, I'm also working on my ex was supposed to come from Buenos Aires to to Montreal to see my sons, to see my sons. But something, because of COVID, something got switched. They couldn't cancel the ticket, so everybody's getting crazy paranoid. Like we couldn't book the ticket from Buenos Aires to Lima, Lima to Toronto, blah blah blah. So my son had booked it, and he was giving up already. He said, "You know what? I'm gonna forget it. We're gonna lose the money." Sorry, my voice. Forget it. I'm done, Mom. I can't do this anymore. It's been 4 days online trying to book. I just, if you've done this online, you know how intense it can be, and the prices are changing. And anyway, he was saturated. He said, "Forget it. I'd rather lose the money than call." So I said, "Okay, I can't do this on Friday night because I had company. They stayed there till 11 p.m. I said, "I'll tackle it tomorrow morning." So 9 o'clock in the morning, I get online and I'm calling my ex. I'm going to call him Alex because I don't like saying my ex because we're on good terms. I'm calling Alex. I'm calling, trying to find all these numbers on the agencies and can't get through, and finally get through, and they hung up and they said, "Oh, you have to call this." Okay. So I'm sitting here where I'm sitting right now in my little kitchen, and I grab my computer, I sit it there, and I remember what the book said: ask for help. So I sat down, and in my head I said, "Okay, somebody, give me peace, help me out here. I only have the flight was Saturday at 10 p.m. yesterday at 10 p.m. I had to do something. So time was like of the essence, and I had to get something done. So I asked for help. I sit down on my computer. I log on to the agency's website. I start reading through the cancellation policy. One of the cancellation policies said, if you're within 72 or 24 hours of the flight, call the provider, the airline directly. I said, "Okay, fine. Who's the airline?" "Oh, Aeromexico." So look up a number for Aeromexico. Oh, there's a 1-800 number, because before I was calling Lima, an international number, couldn't get through. It was chaotic. Find the 1-800 number. How long do you think I was on hold?
No idea.
I was on hold. You're usually on hold half an hour, 20 minutes before you actually can talk to somebody for an agency.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah, always.
Within 2 minutes, Dalia. "Hola, Dalia, mi nombre es Dalia. ¿Cómo le puedo ayudar? Blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I got Dalia." Not only did Dalia tell me that I had 3 choices. I could get a voucher, I could keep an open ticket, or I can pay a cancellation fee and change it. All to say, problem solved. He got an open ticket. He's not here, but he got his money back to use it whenever. So I'm saying, okay, oh my God, it's 11 o'clock. I have to go. I have to get some furniture. I had a lot of stuff to do here in the house. So I'm brushing my teeth and my phone's ringing. I didn't want to answer, but I said, "Okay, just clean my face, spit out the thing." Okay, I'm gonna answer. And I'm running around, and boom, I answer. Good thing I had this little guy on, otherwise I wouldn't have answered. And I say, "Hi, my name is Gabrielle, and you left a message for me. If you wanted information." "Oh yeah," and I'm running around looking for my phone, and I really chaotic. It's like, "You got me in a bad time, blah blah blah." But yes, I'll take your call. Give it to me. So she started talking about her coaching academy, blah blah blah. She's from Montreal. She has a strong accent, very strong accent. But I don't dare ask where she's from, because I didn't want to seem like, I'm judging her for where she's coming from or whatever. I said, just let it go. And she starts talking about her academy and her experience and how she started. She's been in this for about 10 or 15 years. She's an engineer from another country. One day, a friend told her, "You'd be an excellent coach." And 10 years later, she has her own academy. So now she tells me her story, and as she's telling me her story, I tell her, oh, it sounds familiar because she had told me she had come to Canada with nothing for 2 kids and with nothing under her arm. So she had to start from scratch. So I tell her, me too. I came from Argentina 20 years ago with my 2 kids with nothing but $2,000 and of course with my family here. I feel like we have a lot in common. It's hard to start off as a woman and with no help and da. And when I said Argentina, she said, so when I said Argentina, she said, oh my God, I'm from Argentina too. So she's Argentinian, number one. Doesn't stop there. And I said, yes, I'm from Argentina, Entre Rios, which is a province. Entre Rios, Paraná. Oh my God, my dad is from Entre Rios, Concepcion. And at that point, everything is just going, I'm getting like these escalofrios, chills all around my body. And she says, oh my God, I have an uncle in that town. And I go every summer to that beach where my dad is from, where I placed my dad's ashes 2 years ago. So she's not only from I was born Canadian, 18 years, but I lived about 15 years in Argentina. So I've absorbed a lot of the Argentinian. I know my family's over there, and I'm half here, half there. But I'm a whole, but I come from 2 cultures. So the understanding that I have with a person like that, of understanding, anyway, we clicked so well that the sequence of everything that happened, and the book came before my neurologist told me this. So if you can see, somebody placed the book in my path, somebody placed my head, my boss in my path, and somebody placed this coach in my path too. And I say, okay, just the joy inside of me was amazing. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Well, I asked for help. It worked. That's
Oh my gosh, it's
story.
crazy. I love it. It's like I just want to like freaking run out of my house to your house and like.
I know, it's like
the
the epiphany. Is that the word?
The universe, just like, but don't you feel it? Like it just.
No, but at the moment when I was talking to her, I go to John and I'm jumping up and down. I said, did you just hear where this girl is from? She is from. It's like my dad's leading the way here. Somebody is watching over me. I've always believed in somebody watching over me, but this time it was different.
Maybe he's your spiritual guide. Wow.
Maybe he is my spiritual guide. He is a very spiritual person.
I absolutely love this story. I love this story.
It's crazy. Yeah. So there's more to it. I haven't, because I'm doing too many things right now. I said we have a meeting on Zoom and September 30th. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the courses and everything. But I told her I'm not ready now because I got to finish some other stuff and do this Vanier stuff, a new job. I don't want to like pile it up because
overload yourself.
Yeah, I want to like savor every moment because it's going to be by Zoom too, and there's going to be work involved and this and that. So all that to say, yeah, the pathways are opening up. My true force, destiny, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, letting it in. Just I've never seen it before. I've never allowed myself to see it. And I think ever since I was like in my 20s, and what I've wanted to do in my life is coach kids, be a coach, help them to be better, be confident, help kids be confident. So this is kind of aligned with what my dreams have been, anyways, I don't want to hog up any more time.
I appreciate, oh my gosh, I appreciate everybody's stories today. Carmen, thank you for sharing that. I'm so grateful you did because it's just amazing. Penny, I like your story of how you appreciate and how you visualize light and love. And Vanessa, you know, identifying, you know, where her roadblocks are, and Leah hopping on and just being part of this today. We'll get you on here more often now, Leah. You've been here, you broke the ice. We're gonna keep you coming back. Okay, so
Thank
I'd like
you.
to wrap up. We'll wrap up because it's 10, it's a little after 10 and we all have our Sundays to enjoy. So first, I just want to thank everyone for being part of the September project with me. You all brought light. You know, I wanted to do this to share light. It came from a place of just wanting to connect for no other reason than just for love. And it's like the book says, I gave, so, and I have been given so much more in return. So I am just so grateful. I did want to share with you the next book that I'm planning on digging into. I will not be doing it over a 1-month book club because I feel like it's going to take a little longer to read. But it's called Lunar Abundance. I will post it when I switch over to the October project, which will be very soon. But this book is about cultivating joy, peace, and purpose while using the phases of the moon.
Ooh.
And I think that is really what's calling to me right now. The moon is very symbolic to me. It's the last text thread that we received as a family from Linda about the beautiful moon that night. It's the last time she ever texted us, my sisters and I. So I want to connect with that next month. And I am inviting anyone who would like to join me. I will be sending more information out, but I will not be doing this over a month. I think this book will be over 2 months at least. And there is also a journal that comes with it as well. I highly recommend getting a journal that comes with a book. If you didn't know this yet, Gabrielle's book, The Super Attractor, also has a journal. And I have been using it for the book. I think it's kind of cool to have them connected if you like to take notes or write things down. Yeah, so check that out. So I'll send some more information about the October project and what I'm thinking about doing in the month of October. And I'd love to have everybody come back and connect again. And so I will send more information for that shortly. And again, I'm just so grateful that I got to spend time with you guys this month. It's been really wonderful.
Thank you for giving us this platform to share things
Thank
that you don't just kind of share with anybody. So it's nice to share.
Yeah, it is. I honestly, I'm so happy right now. Like I could burst into tears.
Yeah,
felt
no,
yesterday, oh my
I've
God,
enjoyed
yeah.
connecting with all of you from all different places and walks of life. And I just love, because we have our differences, but we have the one thing that unites us and brings us together. You know, our light, our love, our femininity, you know, our womanhood. Important, I think, that we've lost that connection with each other, women in general. And so I love any opportunity to connect. So yeah, I'd love to take part in the next book club.
Awesome. And Penny,
Absolutely.
this brought us back together.
Yes.
It brought Penny and I, like, we're in our mid 40s and we haven't spoken since we were 12.
Oh my God, that is amazing.
And Vanessa, she's still
Vanessa.
listening. She's getting ready to go to church. So she's turned off her screen. But Vanessa, well, I love Vanessa. Like I've met Vanessa, like I said, this past year. And she's been a huge part of the support system for me to get healthy and just feel love and support from women who love other women, like no judgment, just like this group. It's amazing. So I'm just eternally grateful for all of you. And Leah, I love this woman, Leah. I'm so happy you're here. maybe just before we go, well, we're going to end, but Leia, perhaps you could just introduce yourself so that when we start the next month, we'll have a little bit about knowing about you.
Okay, so my name is Leia. I'm retired.
Where do you live?
I just moved. I moved about a year and a half ago. I'm sorry.
It's
okay.
okay.
I don't know.
Let it out.
Okay, I moved a year and a half ago. I started off alone, and I had a bit of a setback with my health, but I'm okay. Oh boy, that's, I had cancer. It's always been tough to say that. And I'm okay now. I think I'm okay, but it's always the thought of, I don't know who was saying it. I think you were. I'm sorry, I can't see your name because
It's okay.
but I think it was you who was saying that you have to, decide to choose how you're going to live. I'm okay now, but initially it was a very, very rough ride. It was really hard. So I'm sorry. This is who I am. I'm retired. I had a lot of setbacks. Between that, I also got divorced. And so I got divorced, I moved, and, I was diagnosed, and I had the treatment and the whole thing. And I'm okay. I'm okay now.
You have your beautiful
okay.
kids.
I
Tell us
do. I
about-
have my beautiful kids. Yes, I do. And I'm a grandmother, and I have a beautiful grandson, and
Wow.
and I choose happy, and I live a positive life in the past. This happened all last year, so whatever. But I'm in a better place now. I'm good.
Well, we're happy you're
You
here,
know,
Leia.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you for having me here. And I moved to a beautiful, beautiful place. I did a great job where I am, and I have a very good circle of friends. I that setback was a lesson to teach me maybe strength, maybe resilience, adaptability, and it was a huge lesson. It was a big lesson, and I live every day with positivity, and I wake up, and it's and I choose to be happy.
Amazing.
And
Well, hopefully, Leia,
Thank you for
you'll
sharing.
join us. Yes, you'll join us in October, and we'll get to see
I
your
will.
beautiful face more often.
Mhm.
And like I said, I'll post more information. I'll share on social media, and I'll post more information within our personal feed about next month, which is coming up so quickly. I can't believe it. And so until then, please feel free to use the feed that we have, our little private feed. If you ever want to share anything positive, light, share it with us. We want to hear it. And we'll see each other soon. Have a
Absolutely.
beautiful,
Thank you so
beautiful
much.
day.
All the best.
Have a beautiful
Everybody,
day.
you too. Thank you.
Bye, Vanessa.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Vanessa. Bye, Leah. Thank you
Bye-bye.
for sharing.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for hearing it. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.